Oh, what up, everybody? Welcome back to 9 to 5. Today we have one of my best friends, Vinod, with us, and of course we have John Vincent,
What's
the
up?
beautiful baby face. Aside he has a mustache and a beard.
Gotta hide
I
that.
can't get any of those, man. Actually. But anyways, we're just gonna begin with
This is Z. This is Z.
Of course, I'm Z.
Z.
So this is our new episode with
Not
Vinod.
the pronoun.
So Vinod,
Yes.
the first thing Vinod told me today actually was he's switching over from his Apple phones to his Android phones.
Oh yeah.
Big step for me.
What he said was, hey, I think I'm gonna get an Android phone next. Then I was like, yeah, of course you are. Because
What happened, dude? What happened?
yeah, Vinod.
No, I mean, the phone is getting old. That's for one. So I need a new phone. And I just stopped my subscriptions on Apple. You remember I told you?
Yeah.
So I basically canceled all my subscriptions, waiting for everything to finish so that I can try something different. I think with Android also now, what's cool is you have a lot more smartwatches. And I've always wanted to get a smartwatch.
Oh, yeah.
And not be limited with, to pick from just one. The Apple Watch, there's only one.
Yeah.
I don't like Apple Watches either. They don't look. They're so big, They're very bulky.
I've never seen the use in a smartwatch before though. Like
For me, it works
yeah.
because I work in a restaurant, right? So
Yeah.
I have to put up with not having my phone on my person at all times. So I go back to check on my phone, but it'd be nice if I had a watch and then if I had a email or message, because there are pockets of time in my working hours, even during service, that I can actually afford to check my phone, but I don't want to. But if I have a watch, I can quickly just glance and see.
Wait, let me cut in here
That's
real
true,
quick.
that's
You
true.
said, but you had like the last time that I went to your place, right? You had the whole ecosystem going on with your setup. So what's gonna happen to that? Like you had a whole setup. For
No,
that.
that's why he was mentioning the cancelling his subscriptions because it's
okay,
damn
that's
hard
all
to get
part
out
and
of the
parcel.
Apple.
Yeah.
Very hard
it's-
to get out of it.
Well, the thing is, a lot of the apps that I use are third party.
Oh yeah.
So most of the subscriptions I'm getting out of are the magazine subscriptions, because now I really don't have time to read my magazines on top of whatever I'm doing now. So I'm just letting the subscriptions go. But the fact that I'm using apps that are third party like Evernote and what else?
A lot of the stuff can still-
Spotify,
a lot of the stuff can
Netflix,
still
and
be
all these other
transferred.
apps. They just transferable. You can just use them on different UI. So
Yeah, that's a lot better. That's a lot better than subscribing to Apple's specific things. But you don't use
Yeah.
Apple Music, right?
I don't use Apple Music, man.
Okay.
Spotify is good enough. Apple Music, I don't know. You don't need so many things in your life.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But just now you were mentioning using the watch for your work. For those of you who don't know, Vinod is a sommelier
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
at Odette.
Mm-hmm.
Classy ass place. I tried to walk in once, but I was not dressed correctly. Vinod didn't even want to greet me at the door. I was waving.
Who's the
He's
guy?
like,
Who's that pleb? Who's that pleb out there?
Can you get security, please? Security.
too fancy already, the place. Too fancy already. Yeah.
No, but wait, okay, for the people who don't know, we obviously know the story, right?
Yeah.
But how'd you end up there?
Well,
Oh, it's a long journey, man.
yeah, it's a long journey. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
I never knew I wanted to be a sommelier at the beginning. So this was in 2014, right? We worked together.
Yep.
in
That
a
was like
restaurant.
fresh out of school too.
Fresh out of school, yeah. working
And,
as-
oh shit! And what were we studying?
Oh, mass comm. None of
Yeah.
us did anything related.
Yeah, no, but, yeah, we still think about it. I mean, I still think about it, right? But without school, we would have never landed the jobs that we have.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
apart
true.
from Z, I
Mm.
think maybe might still.
No, I think that's true as well. Because
Yeah.
school made me like really realize, okay, fuck this. I don't want to be like trying to sell shit to people
Yeah.
and marketing things. Let's just play some music.
Yeah, I think. I mean, for me, if I didn't meet John, if I had met John and Derek,
Yeah.
in school, I wouldn't have got the job at Bacchanal even. I mean,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's the first job that got me into the industry.
Mhm.
I mean, we always have for me, the food industry was just like, I'm just going to work a couple hours, get some money, and that's it. But then suddenly you start to take it a bit seriously. And of course, when you work with passionate people around you, like,
You start seeing all the
our head
intricacies of
chefs,
the work.
yeah, and all
Yeah.
the things that
Mhm.
go into this, and you're like, wow, okay, this is
Yeah.
this is pretty serious. I mean, especially when you're working on that level. In Bacchanal at the time, we were a 1 Michelin star restaurant.
Mm.
It's becoming a 1 Michelin star restaurant. So a lot of work was put into it. You see the work of the passionate people, and you're like, okay, this is something that I like to be a part of.
Yeah.
And you start tasting, and you start realizing that all these things are real, all these flavors, aromas, and they really exist, and it's all it's all linked to winemaking, different processes. You could tell winemaking processes that go into a wine just by smelling it, so breaking it down with your.
But when you were in Bacchanalia, you didn't start with the wines at first,
Yeah,
right?
no,
We were all front of house.
Yes, we were just having fun.
Yeah.
We messed around with a few different things like coffee, wine. You figured out what's the difference between cappuccino, latte. You learn all the basic stuff.
Yeah.
But
and then you after Bacchanalia, you had a bit of a hiatus.
Yeah.
And then you went into barista work.
Yes. So that's the one. I think being a barista was the one that opened my eyes to flavor. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I never knew coffee could be so complex.
Fucking with all those beans, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, honestly, right, I was never really into that kind of coffee until I started hanging out with Vinod when he was becoming a barista. And then I started enjoying this kind of coffee.
Yeah.
And now, like, it's hard to just drink normal coffee. Like, Vinod used to give me shit all the time for drinking like those 3-in-1 kind of coffees, right?
I don't know about you guys. I think you got that shit, bro. I fuck with instant coffee every day, bro.
You just gotta hang out with him long enough.
I mean, like, I understand. I understand. You know how real good coffee tastes like, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, like, I don't have the fucking opportunity to have real good coffee every day, so I can totally stand by fucking instant coffee, man.
You see, the thing is, for me, for instant coffee, is like the caffeine doesn't seem as high. The caffeine amount doesn't seem as high. It doesn't feel like it's enough. But like a nice, good, fresh cup of coffee, that feels like it's right there.
Okay, I think that's one big difference with me as well. It's probably that I don't really care for the caffeine. Like,
how do you drink for what?
As in, I'm good with the caffeine. I think it's more of the act of drinking coffee that makes me want to keep on drinking coffee.
Taste.
I mean, the taste is one, but I mean, if you're drinking instant coffee, you don't really get fucking much of a taste out of it, right? It's like ass coffee most of the time.
Some of it is very good. Some of it is very good.
I think the act of it
Look,
is
just
like...
scoff at that.
I've obviously not had the instant coffee you've been having.
What's your instant coffee?
Nah, I don't have instant coffee, man. But
You know, he hand drips everything at home.
Oh, for sure?
Yeah, he grinds his own beans.
Yeah,
You're serious?
I have an electric grinder, I have the Chemex, you know, which I brew with.
Oh, and like when I say the act of drinking coffee, it's not about the fucking process of making it. It's just the part of sipping it. Because I mean, if I was talking about the act of making coffee, I would be doing what he does. You know, fucking doing the drip all the time. Like, fuck, I can't be fucked to do that, man. I just want to put the powder in the fucking cup, put the hot water in there, mix it up a bit, drink that shit.
You know, Vinod bought a hand crank for his beans, right? You know how long it takes to crank that shit.
Yeah, and that's the that's the best hand grinder in the world right now.
And it still takes you so long, dude.
It
we gotta
takes you
think
so
about
long.
it.
Yeah, it's not exactly. No, I mean, and that's why
I'm just fucking with you.
and that's why I bought an electric grinder.
Yeah.
And it cost exactly as much as the hand grinder did. Just
Oh,
can you
shit.
imagine? Yeah, I paid about $300 for my hand grinder,
Yeah.
but the electric grinder was about, I think, almost $400, so it's under $400. So that's about $80 more than a hand grinder. For electric grinder, is from you know, where is it from? It's from Italy or something. Can't remember. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Okay. So you got into coffee and you went to Chye Seng Huat
Yes.
to train to become a barista, right? So what was that like?
Chye Seng Huat. I mean,
Wait. First, explain what Chye Seng Huat is.
So Chye Seng Huat is a cafe within the umbrella company of Papa Paletta. They are, I mean, easily one of the pioneers of specialty coffee in Singapore. So specialty coffee is coffee that, or specialty cafes are cafes that focus on fair trade sourcing. They are very sort of farm to bean to coffee sort of places, like, you know, you got bean to bar stuff. Yeah, they're very honest about their approach. They work with only the best farms around the world. They use only Arabica beans, so some of the more nuanced, lighter coffees, and they are very careful in promoting coffee. I mean,
Well, let's take a step back a bit. Like, how'd you land the job, though? How'd you land the job?
That's an interesting story,
right?
That's an interesting story.
Leon, I mean, so the owner of Papa Paletta, his name is Leon Fu, and I sang at his wedding a long time ago, a few years ago, before Chye Seng Huat. So this was maybe 2000, I don't know, what, 13 or 12, I think, when they got married. I'm not sure.
A while back.
Some time back. Yeah, we sang at his wedding because his cousin is a good friend of ours, and we used to play music back then. So
we played as a trio, me, Loy, our friend, and Vinod.
Yeah.
And the sister also came on for one or two songs.
Yeah, Loy's sister, right?
Yeah, Loy's sister. Yeah. So that's how you met him.
Yeah, that's how I met him. And then like few years after that, I mean, we were working back at the restaurant, right? So I thought, you know what, during the hiatus, I thought, let's learn something. And since I know this guy, just drop him a message, see what's up. I like coffee. So yeah, and then he got me the gig, got me into the bar really quickly. I learned how to make coffee, and yeah, and so that's how I started.
Nice.
And how long were you there for?
I was there for only 6 months, I think. Yeah, it was a quick stint because it was. I had this amount of time before I started back at Bacchanalia. Not exactly Bacchanalia, but their new project.
Yeah.
So I had this amount of time to kill. So I said, why not? Let's learn something in between. Yeah.
Yeah. I just remember during that period, Vinod was damn wired every time me him, he's super wired. Especially at Chye Seng Huat, it's like
crazy.
You're gonna get fucking wired from that.
No, they do because we drink a lot of coffee. So the second we step in, right? I mean, we open the cafe at 9 in the morning. No, we start at 9, but we open the cafe at 10, or was it 8 and 9? I'm not sure, but we have an hour before we open the cafe. So in the hour, we taste all the coffee. We brew a bunch of different coffees and figure out the recipe for the day and how we're going to brew it, and we have to taste.
Fucking junkies.
So we taste, I know. And we are super wired.
Yeah, nobody told you all to spit.
Yeah, no, we do. No, some of us do. I mean, but I just drank it, whatever. And it was just like, you just spend the whole day being wired and super chatty. But chatty with all you guys, it helps.
Dude, you guys need a spittoon in there?
Yeah, no, and some of us, we do. Sometimes I spit also, but...
Yeah, but you're more of a swallow kind of guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can drink to that.
No, even now with wine, I don't spit.
Well, I wouldn't.
Only when it's pleasure, then you swallow. But working, you still got to spit, show the client some professionalism.
Nah, yeah.
That's very good.
Yeah. We're pretty laid back with wine, even.
Yeah.
I mean, if you...
Okay, so after Chye Seng Huat, you went back to Bacchanalia, but with a new project.
Yeah, so I went back to...
Madison.
So actually, I started this place, this co-working space that was run by the Bacchanalia guys. And then I got the opportunity to run their coffee program, the beverage program. So got the cafe part of the restaurant or co-working space going. That was pretty exciting, getting everything done, getting the machine in, the beans in, the ware, the glassware, the cups.
Yeah, because you were doing you were still barista.
Yes.
Going into that,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, it was, So it was pretty cool, man. Doing all the training as well, getting everybody up to speed with coffee, extraction, and all that stuff, like what it means to, how do you make coffee, how to understand it. Yeah.
Has Vinod ever explained to you the process of making coffee before?
Yeah, he has.
It's super intricate. It's down to the second.
On that note, how do you make an actual cup of coffee?
I mean, for coffee, you want no bitterness. I know it sounds crazy. If you think coffee, you think bitter, right?
Yeah.
But that's a badly brewed coffee. Same with tea. I mean, when you think, a lot of tea that you have is just bitter and astringent. It can be terrible. But actually, coffee and tea, they shouldn't taste bitter at all. And you can make a nice cup of coffee without being, without having it be too bitter. Just the recipe. There's a lot of things that go into the dose, the grind size, the temperature of the water, and this many things. A ratio of water to the grind as well.
Yeah, and you were saying before also each step of the process will affect the final outcome of the flavor.
Yeah,
right?
and this goes way back even to the roasting part of the thing.
Yeah.
It's just roasting is where you create the potential in or you take the potential and make it even more apparent, in the coffee. So roasting is a very important part of the process. I think it's something that I like to learn in the future.
So that means a single bean can turn out a multitude of ways as well, right?
Yes,
Depending on how it's roasted.
The coffee bean is one of the most complex food items in the world. It's as complex as it's almost as complex as chocolate, if I'm not mistaken. It's one of the more complex.
Yeah, definitely more complex than pork.
Yeah, so it's got a lot of different aromatic compounds that you can sort of tap into with heat. With the Maillard reaction, you create flavor. Yeah.
Nice.
That's how it works.
And then even the temperature of the water. So when you make the coffee, 0.5 degrees will affect the taste.
Yeah, we get quite specific with the temperature. We use a refractometer to check our total dissolved solids in the liquid as well. And this thing is $1,000.
I understood 20% of that sentence.
Yeah,
I was like, what? You're measuring what?
Yeah, you're measuring the dissolved solids in a liquid to see how much you extracted from from whatever you're trying to extract from. In this case, coffee ground. So we use that to measure the extraction. There is a proper percentage of how much you want extracted from a certain amount that you look for. You know, it's very measured. You can get crazy, but it just gives you a general idea where you're hitting. So it's good to help. It helps you with your technique. So if you think that, okay, you know, we're extracting too little from this much, you can actually extract a bit more and have a better cup. Let's try and do that. Let's see what I can change. So just understanding that what you can do, where you can, you know, what you can tweak. So you get quite specific. I mean, you're a cafe. That's good. It's expected that you do this. It's nice. So you set the standard. You set the bar. People come in with expectation already.
I think that's why the coffee in Singapore is just generally better compared to so many places. I mean, I went to the States. I was like, oh my god. Even the best cafes, I was like, oh my god, the coffee here sucks.
Yeah,
compared to like just Yahava, which is like 5 minutes down from my place. You know.
Yeah, you know, Yahava is great. Yahava is like, you know, they're always consistent, and that's something that's quite tricky also. Because you have different baristas and they all have their own idea of what they want to do, and they're all quite egoistic. I mean, they all are very individual. They want to express themselves to their coffee, right?
But I mean, at the same time, America's a way larger country. There's for sure a lot of places there that actually practice, you know, the art of making coffee seriously.
For sure.
But I mean, Singapore is a small country. You can like drive a little bit and then you'll find a good coffee place.
I would say there's a higher concentration of good coffee places in Singapore.
True. I agree with that.
But I mean, I went to Boston and I went to like one place that was apparently like one of the
you went to
best
Boston,
cafes.
dude.
What?
You went to Boston, though.
I mean,
they want to drink there, dude. Alcohol, man.
I think they're quite okay with coffee as well. I mean, like the cafe was quite busy when I went there, you know, and it's known to be a pretty good place. But I tried it, I was like, this is nowhere near.
Yeah, I mean, Vinod spoiled the shit out of you, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Brewed me one too many cups, man.
No, and even I was just in London actually, and the coffee there was poor generally, but there were a few places that were actually pretty good, and and even the ones that were recommended to me were not that great, because I mean, especially if you're gonna have a latte or cappuccino, those milk-based coffees, right? Milk makes up a huge percentage of that coffee. It's like 80%. So if you're gonna make a milk-based coffee drink, you gotta make sure you texture the milk well. So texturing is not having too much foam or may bring it up to the right temperature. All these things need to be met. Like if the coffee is too foamy, the mouthfeel is going to be crap. I mean,
so what kind of milk do you recommend most people using? Like, say if they can't really source their own milk, what kind of milk would they use?
The brand that we use, it's Meiji.
Yeah, I see a lot of people using this. A lot of people use this exact brand because like, I mean, even the milk on its own tastes a lot better than like HL milk. For sure.
I don't know why. You know, I actually did a milk taste test even for the co-working space that I used to work for, and I bought a bunch of different brands because I didn't want to just stick with Meiji just because, you know, I want to try see how the rest are. I try use UHT as well, so ultra high pasteurized, ultra high temperature pasteurized. So those milk UHT milk can last much longer on the shelf. I think you can keep them for like 8 months or something if you don't open it.
Oh, nice.
At the right temperature, but so that's cool. I mean, you don't have to go to the milk too fast. But if you use Meiji and you have to, it has an expiry date. It's like 2 weeks or less.
Right.
Under 2 weeks, I think. Yeah, so you need to make sure you move the stock fast. In your order on time and whatnot. But so I did a taste test and they were all so terrible. They all had a taste that would cut through, you know. And you know, like a taste that you still pick out, and it's just not comfortable. It's not nice.
What is like acidic or what?
Not just acidic, but I mean they're all acidic, but they have a taste, have a flavor that sticks out, that rings out from the coffee that you don't want. It's just not desirable in the cup.
You know what? I actually know what it means because like a lot of places where when I try the coffee, I'm thinking like, this is not as good as like Yahava. It's always the milk, the taste of milk that sticks out. Like, shouldn't be there
because it makes for a huge part of the cup. I mean, you got to be very careful, man. Like, if you like, I mean, even now at Odette, you know, when I train the guys to make coffee, I don't worry so much about the espresso bit because, I mean, it's important, but that I can work on later. But right now, I need to get you up to speed with the idea of milk texturing and frothing and the temperature, right temperature, and how to use it, because it's the toughest part of making a cup with milk. It's the toughest part. The texturing takes forever. It's to learn to do well.
That's damn cool, man. Actually, that's damn cool. It feels like you're a chemist when you become a barista. You know?
And there are a lot of things to remember, like a lot of temperatures to remember, a lot of these little numbers to remember, so that you can always check if you Yeah, but like practice makes permanent, right? So if I see the kids just keep doing the same wrong thing over and over again and wondering why, you need to start to like read your own and study. Yeah.
So after your stint at Chye Seng Huat, you went back to
Medicine rooms,
which is part of Bacchanalia.
By the group,
About the group. And then
I went back to Bacchanalia.
You went back. Oh yeah,
that's
that's
right.
right.
For another year proper.
Yeah, for another year.
He came back to work with me. I can't believe you could still stand me, dude. At that point.
and then we got the coffee program running as well.
Yeah.
And that was part of the deal for me to go back to Bacchanalia to get a new machine. We got an incredible machine in like espresso. We got the GS3 Lamazoko. That was a beast of a machine.
But I think by the time that machine came around, I was already out.
You were out, yes. I think you left there. It took 6 months for you to come in. No? I think maybe half a year. Yeah, and then
took a bit too long. I couldn't wait anymore. I need my coffee, bro. Fuck.
Yeah. And then I set it up pretty awesome and got great like feedback actually because I mean fine dining restaurants focus so much on the food and the wine and even the water and and the alcohol, but
the coffee matters
but the coffee
too.
is always just an afterthought. It's like an espresso and it's usually crap, but you want to have sort of like consistency with your experience. Like it has to finish
with the quality, like the food. If the food is quality, you better make sure your coffee is quality too.
And you should have something to say about your coffee as well. I mean, like I know where the coffee that we use is from. Because we get it from Chye Seng Huat, we get it from Papa Peleta. So we get our coffee from them. So I still get to work with them. I know them. I know their quality. I know what they stand for. So it's easy for me to communicate that message to my guests now. Because I know them. I know over here we focus a lot, and you see people understand it, and they reciprocate that. They tell you that it's great. It's one of the best coffees they've had in restaurants. So and they talk about it as well. So they know this. And people now are getting more exposed to good coffee, and they're gonna expect something. They're gonna expect at least some art on your lattes
some
already.
latte art.
What do you think about that? What do you think about that? The art latte.
I mean, you can only have art when you can texture milk well. So if you can texture milk well,
but is it necessary?
It's
for sure. What the hell?
I just fucking drink it, bro.
It's for the visual aspect of it.
It's a whole experience.
My lips touch that shit. It's gone.
No, when you see a swan drawn on your cup of coffee, it just makes it taste so much better.
I don't know. It doesn't improve my fucking coffee experience, dude. I see a heart shape there. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Fuck it, drink it.
I think it's supposed to be a leaf. Is it supposed to be a leaf or a heart?
We call it
Oh, it's not a leaf.
We call it heart or tulip. So I mean, if you do a heart, one heart is a heart. But if you do a couple, it becomes a tulip. We call it tulip. They have the rosettas and then the swans as well.
Damn.
So those are they're different types of art. But
what's your thought on these latte art?
No, I think it's important. Yes.
Yeah, so do I. What the hell?
It's important.
Just being a hater.
But
it's important, dude. No.
It's important because it does affect the way people perceive the quality of the coffee, the perceived quality of it at least. But it should not be the goal when you're trying to learn.
Yeah, dude.
Because people are just so.
No, but that's what I'm getting at.
That's
what I'm getting at. You get like you go to these cafes. They do the latte art perfect, right? It looks fucking amazing. The coffee itself tastes like ass, though.
Let me just put it this way. Every time I go to a cafe, right, and the latte art is bad, right, the coffee is bad. Let me just put it this way.
I guess people who
there is a correlation between that.
I think maybe there is. Yeah, I guess it takes a certain kind of.
Yeah,
you gotta be pretty skilled with like frothing the milk.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you gotta have done it enough. So
yeah,
to get to that point, you got to have a good understanding, at least understanding of coffee and milk, even temperatures and texturing when to start and stop.
I just want my coffee, man. I don't need you making art on that shit, bro.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it doesn't matter. But I mean, it's nice to have it. At least. Yeah, it's nice.
I want a ballerina on that shit, bro. Like a dancing one.
And another that moves.
Yeah, stir it. It starts fucking moving itself.
Oh, that'd be damn cool, man.
Yeah, dude.
That'd be damn cool.
Now you have the printers. Now you have the printers that print on top of your.
Oh no shit!
What?
Oh fuck that,
yeah, but it's not nice.
That kind of defeats the purpose. I saw that. Yeah, it defeats the purpose, man.
Another thing that's very important is also tactile. I mean, like how it feels in your hand, the cup.
Okay, I don't know about that really.
Okay.
That's a bit
this is because when I
was with you on latte art, but the cup, like I don't know, like.
No, but when you're working when you work in a restaurant, one Michelin star restaurant, I mean, everything plays a part.
Yeah, everything definitely.
Right. So like, I mean, at Bacchanalia, when I say that I'm
Because
going
dining in a fine dining restaurant, it's an experience.
Yeah, it's
so
an
you don't want to
experience,
break that immersion by having a shitty cup, right?
Exactly. Yeah, you don't want to stick out, and also it helps with the whole feel,
Yeah.
of drinking.
I
a
get
cup.
that. I
It's
get
very,
that.
So like I picked some handmade ceramic cups from Belgium. They come in and the whole set, like even the sugar bowls. I mean, the whole set was like, wow, it's super.
How much was the set itself?
Oh, I can't remember, but I spent quite a bit of money on that one.
You didn't pay for it.
He
didn't pay for it himself.
I'm sure they look nice though. I'm sure they look nice.
It's very pretty. Yeah. It's very pretty. Yeah.
All right, let's jump out of the coffee and into the wine.
Yeah,
because
okay.
I think we should start exploring the wine aspect of all of this as well.
Yeah.
Because when you even before you hit Odette in Bacchanalia, you were already kind of dabbling with a few bits and pieces of wine, right? Yeah.
So the thing about taste is very transferable.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you start practicing how to pick up structure, flavors in a beverage, in a drink, you tend to apply it with anything you can. So with wine, it was quite easy to pick up. So I understand.
Because you already had that background from coffee,
from like cupping different coffees and stuff. And I said, you know what, let's just jump right into it. So I went and took my first exam, which was a WSET level 2. And then very quickly, I attended the level 3 right after level 2. And now I'm doing my level 4, the diploma. So it's all happened very fast over a period of like 2 years. So that's how I got into it. And then I started taking over the wine program in Bacchanalia also, because they had no sommelier. So we had someone had to do it. So I thought, let's just do it. And I started studying any time I had, learning about wine, trying to understand, what it is to be a sommelier and how to run a list, how to look for producers, and now they are very important. So when you work in a restaurant, you're not just looking for just any kind of wine. Like you're looking at producers. So sure, you want to have some Rioja wines that are from Spain, like from this region called Rioja, but what producers are you going to have from this region? Because they are important, because some of them might be conventional, traditional producers that use chemicals in the vineyard. Some of them might be organic. Yeah. They have a complete different philosophy of making wine. So which do you want to associate with? Because brand association at that level is very important. So like, I don't want to sell champagne here that's sold at like Tanjung Beach Club, because I don't want people to see that and say, oh, we had this at Tanjung Beach Club, shouldn't have on the list. It sort of brings the value of the list down.
Tastes
sleazy. And Odette is like a 2-star.
Yeah, Odette is now a 2 Michelin star restaurant.
You know?
We're trying to aim for the 3rd one, so we are really, really so
That would be
careful.
pretty unique though. Like you go to Odette and then we got champagne from Tanjung Beach Club.
Yeah, we
tastes sleazy.
Yeah.
It's an experience.
Yeah, take you out of this fine dining experience for a second with the wine.
Let me just throw some trash at you real quick.
Yeah, man, it's so important.
But you do go out to meet the producers of the wine, right? Like with your most recent trip.
Yeah. I mean, this was a very interesting, eye-opening trip.
Your recent trip to London, right?
To London, and then I went to Champagne after London. So London was just for my exam.
Which exam was that?
My level 4 exam, my diploma exam. So I've 6 exams altogether. This was my first paper, and it was 2 days. It was over a period of 2 days, including a tasting seminar. So I was there for a couple of days in London, and then after that I went to Champagne to visit a few winemakers that I work with here in Singapore. One of whom I've already met in Singapore. His name is David Leclerc from Trepai in Champagne. He makes incredible biodynamic champagnes. All barrel aged fermented champagne, super just solid wines.
We're gonna have to listen to this again after this, because I got stuck at the name, dude. That name is too fucking sexy.
David Leclerc. It's beautiful.
What the fuck?
No, but this guy is so enthusiastic. He's so passionate. Like, it's just a joy to be around him, man. Like, it's crazy. Like, you don't meet people like this all the time. It's crazy. Like, this guy is why he's so well received now, and everybody has only good things to say about him. Even the other winemakers I met and told that I went and saw David Leclerc yesterday, and they were like, wow, he's such a great guy. Yeah, so everyone is like, he's older, he's like, I think he's like 60, in his 60s now, but it's like a boy at heart, and he's talking to me, driving me around his pickup, around the vineyard, just me and him.
Genuine passion.
And he just stops on and he says, oh, you got to see this. He starts showing me the rocks, the silex rocks that make up the topsoil in his vineyard. He picks them up, dusts them off, and scratches two of them together and asks me to smell them because it smells like flint. when you knock them off. Like you see sparks come, and he said that's what gives the wine, his wine's the minerality and all that stuff.
And these chateaux are all like in the middle of pretty much. It's not like populated areas.
It's in the middle of nowhere. So like you have to drive to these villages. So that's what Champagne is about. Champagne is massive, you know, like it's a huge appellation. It's a huge area, and within Champagne you got all these villages, you know, and each of them make their own champagne, and they all can vary quite significantly from each other because of the way the vineyards are. Because of the aspect of the vineyards, because of the soil structure of those
Really,
vineyards.
the soil changes a lot between vineyards
The
as well?
soils, can change.
What?
It can change a lot, yes.
Damn.
I mean, the south of Champagne is known for their heavier, I think, clay soils.
And how does this
if I'm
affect the
mistaken.
taste of the wine?
Well, it's got to do with the water holding quality of the soil. Like, I think it's good that the south has more clay because it's warmer. Maybe it can hold water better, you know, when it gets too warm in the area, and generally, it affects the health of the vines a lot. It's got a lot of different implications actually. But soils do play a big part. They retain heat better. Some of them better than the rest.
Yeah.
But what's more important, I think, is the aspect of the slopes.
Really, the slopes of
Slope aspect. Yeah, I mean, if you're south facing in the northern hemisphere, you're gonna get more exposure to the sun.
Sunlight.
Yeah, so your grapes are
that
gonna be
makes sense.
ripe. You're gonna, I mean, it's benefit a lot better, especially in a cool climate like Champagne. Champagne is landlocked. It's very continental, so you get really warm temperatures in the daytime. It gets very cold at night. So there's a lot of risks as well, like with frost and stuff. It can damage your vines, damage your grapes and stuff. Yeah, it just gets crazy, man. And they were just talking about having a mildew problem, like fungal problem because of the rain that happened, and it can get quite rainy in Champagne as well.
Yeah.
So what are these towns like? These towns in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it's super quiet. Like just really quiet. You know, if not for the farmers or the vignerons or the winemakers, there's just nothing there. It's really you have one small cafe and just homes, and I don't even know what they do. They're mostly farmers, and it's very quiet. Bees buzzing everywhere. It's bees everywhere. I've never seen so many bees in my life. But people that are warm, friendly, not seen an Indian guy in their life. So it's quite funny.
I bet.
I'm
Where
sure.
you from?
No, but they're all very warm. They're really warm. Yeah. It's very
But
nice.
these places, they're mostly what? They're mostly family owned or
Yeah, I mean
family operated.
family owned. Yeah, so family owned. Like the thing about the story about Champagne is before a long time ago, all these farmers, all these grape growers, they just grew grapes and they sold all their grapes to the big brands like Krug and Moet Chandon and all these big names that you got now. But things start changing because they decided, let's make our own champagne, and everyone started bottling their own wines, and that's why now you got such a large, diverse variety of different wines that just makes the region so exciting. There's always something to discover. Everybody's doing something different. There's the winemaking has just took off. People started experimenting with different forms of barrel aging. Like one of the winemakers I went to visit in the south, in the Orb.
Yeah.
This is the south of Champagne. This is about 2 hours from where I was staying in Reims. Just to give you an idea, I drove from Paris to Reims in 1.5 hours, but from Reims to the other part, to the south of Champagne, was 2 hours. So it's a super
That's
long
way
drive.
out there.
Yeah, that's
It's way out. Yeah, it's in the south. In fact, there was a huge contest whether or not they should become a part of Champagne and call themselves part of Champagne once, and there was a huge war before. I can't remember in which year was this, but there was a lot of rioting before, and a lot they fought over it quite intensely because the guys from Reims and the general Champagne area did not recognize their wines as Champagne. They thought they were different. They are different soils, different climate. They shouldn't be considered Champagne. But now you have so many cult producers from the south that are doing something so different, so unique to the area, and it's just super happening, super hip now. So I went to visit one of them, and they use the Solera system to age their wines, to blend their wines, which is a aging system that you find used mostly in sherry production in Spain. But it's one of the best ways to blend your wines, I think, to get a consistent blend. Yeah, and they do it there, and I saw the whole barrels, stacked on top of each other. So it's pretty cool, man.
It's pretty cool, dude.
Vinod was telling me about his trip over coffee just now.
Yeah.
So I decided to invite myself onto his next trip.
Okay. You're
his
going
next
for
trip
his
to France. Yeah, his next trip to France.
When is it? In November, right?
Yeah, so I'm going in November again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
November. I thought that you're going to London in November.
So I'm
Is
going
it
to London November, but I'm going to I'm going to France again.
Okay,
I'm going to make that trip again. So every time I go to London for my exam, I'm going to Europe. I mean, to winemaking.
But you're going
region,
in
some
next year,
winemakers.
right?
That's crazy.
I'm going in next year
Mm.
and the following, probably that following year also.
Yeah.
So until 2020, I'll be going.
Yeah, let's go. Let's
Yeah,
go
yeah.
and see some secluded airs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
vineyards,
Dude,
Yeah.
talking about
middle
wines,
of
this is
nowhere.
some
Yeah.
fascinating stuff, dude. I think a lot of people can learn a lot of stuff about wines. Dude, I think we love talking to you, man. We love talking to you,
Thanks.
especially now that you're like a fucking sommelier. You're like out of this world, especially to me.
Into
Like,
it. He's
dude, yeah,
into it, man.
You're super into it, and
Yeah.
you have all this wealth and knowledge. I think that's great, dude. I think I want to dissect that brain a lot more, but I think we might have to bounce off
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
pretty
Fun.
soon.
It's
It's
been
getting
fun.
a
We
bit,
gotta
a
save.
bit late. But okay, wait. Before we end this though, let's get a misconception out of the way. I think like for the longest time, I think a lot of people have been thinking that wines, due to the way that they're presented, people think that it's a rich person's drink, which is obviously isn't. Because there's a lot of good wines that you can find for cheap, and obviously the origin of wine was really more for the not so rich to enjoy, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So I think maybe to end this off, maybe you can tell the people some good winemakers that they can check out by themselves. Not have to go to a fine dining restaurant or
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that. Yeah.
I mean, so good wine and expensive wine, two different things.
yeah.
But good producers, I think, for good value. I mean, if you want to just look at France alone. I mean, just look at the Loire. I think the Loire has like so many
And
incredible
the Loire
producers.
is a
The
red.
Loire Valley. So they make wines with Chenin Blanc, which is a
Mhm.
white
Mhm.
variety of grape, and they make red wines with Cabernet Franc. And look for producers like Thierry Germain.
Mhm.
How do you spell these names? You
Thierry
gotta spell
Thierry
this, man.
Germain. So Thierry
Mhm.
is THIERRY
Mhm.
GER.
For you soccer fans like Thierry Henry, whatever.
Yeah,
bro.
Thierry. Yeah, and Germain like GERMAINE
Mhm.
or just N. I think no E at the end.
Mhm.
And this like Piton Paille, which is
Yeah.
if you want to spell that out.
Oh,
quite
man.
Never
Sounds
mind, you
tough.
can figure it out.
like Gilberto and all these guys. These guys are rising stars now. So
Yeah.
look out for the rising stars. Very
Mhm.
important. These guys have worked with like the top producers, and now they're making their own stuff. So
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
incredible, and for fraction of the price. Like for example, Gilberto used to work with Clos Rougeat, which is one of the legendary producers from the Loire, and his wines cost like thousands of dollars, but his
Mhm.
wines sell for like $80-$70 a bottle.
Mhm.
Part of my
Yeah.
collection.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
it's
but
not that pricey, right?
it's not that you
pricey.
don't
It's
shouldn't pay
like-
so much money for
I
wine.
think
But
people get scared of drinking wines because they think it's expensive, and I'm like, no, it's not expensive.
I think it's
bro.
just the image that's given
it's
off
the
for
image
it.
that's portrayed about it
Yeah.
right nowadays. It's like it's crazy. You think it's only for rich. It's not for rich people.
it's not rich people. I mean,
Yeah, it's not for
just
rich
avoid mass market wines.
Yeah.
Look for family-owned
Yeah.
wineries,
Mhm.
small ones that
Yeah.
don't charge a lot for their wines.
Okay, let's narrow this down. So if you were to pick like a white wine for everyday drinking,
Riesling, man.
Riesling.
Get a Riesling. Good
Yeah.
value, aromatic,
Mhm.
juicy, sometimes with a touch of sweetness. It's just so approachable in this weather also. It goes with anything. You have it from like, you can have it with, rice
Right.
to soups
Yeah.
to foie gras and cheese. You can have it with
Yeah.
with absolutely anything,
Mhm.
like it's just it's like it's one of my favorite wines, Rieslings, and there's such a variety now.
All right, and then how about reds? Let's go to the reds.
Reds, I like a soft style, maybe like Pinot
Mhm.
Noir,
Yeah.
Beaujolais. Oh man,
Mm.
Beaujolais
Mm.
are so cheap and they're incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
Beaujolais is a region just south of Burgundy. They make wines with the Gamay variety of,
Mm.
of grape. Very bright, vibrant red fruit, juicy, simple, soft. Good for this weather. Yeah.
Might give
Yeah.
me a glass of that. Sometime.
Yeah. It's
nice.
Sure, yeah.
I would love to go to those places where they make these wines as well.
Oh my God, yeah.
Sounds like a
Yeah.
small family-run
Yeah, yeah,
place.
Yeah.
Middle of nowhere.
That's all they do, man, for generations.
Yeah.
Just imagine being part of a family like that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. That'd
All
be
right,
cool.
and lastly, for the women out there, so you stop drinking
Oh.
the super insanely sweet wines. Give them an actually good sweet wine to try.
Yeah,
that's
look
for me as well, actually.
Yeah, again, no, I mean, I like.
I love sweet wine.
I like.
What's the most common sweet wine that most women go for? You know the name, right? You know the name.
I mean, common sweet wines. I mean, I'm sure Rieslings are quite. I mean, I know women ask me a lot for Rieslings, but try Tokaj from from
Tokaj,
Hungary.
That's the one I
Tokaj.
was going for.
Yeah,
Oof,
Tokaj,
that was some
yeah,
good stuff,
it's
dude.
good.
When I had that.
Very good. Yeah, I mean, with age, they are super
Yeah.
complex, man, and the winemaking for Tokaj
Yeah.
are incredible, very special. Also, try some Reciotos from Italy. Those are dried. They're dried on mats before they are made into wine. So they concentrate the sugars. They're very sweet and can be quite juicy and chocolatey actually.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, I think these two you can try.
Fascinating.
And I tried some of the Loire. The Loire makes some great sweet wine from Coteaux, Layon, and all these places. Yeah.
Yeah, give a shout out for your Instagram if you have an Instagram page.
Oh yeah, so my Instagram account is under my full name, so Vinodan Velu. That's
Yeah,
it.
we'll have it in the description as well. So, because
Yeah.
Obviously you can't fucking spell that, right?
I don't even know how to spell my own name. So it's a bit tough.
Vinod will post a lot of like wine related stuff. If you're interested in
Yeah.
wine, you can always check out his Instagram. Check out some pictures and videos. In fact, his entire trip, your most recent trip was on your.
Yeah, it was on my
Instagram.
story, but I think it's gone by
story.
now, so,
That's right.
yeah.
You gotta post some pictures.
Yeah, I'll
of
put
that,
some pictures up. Yeah,
because
definitely,
some of those places were
Yeah.
quite mad.
They were
like,
mad. Yeah,
It's just like brick buildings, like thousands years old, thousands of years old. You know,
unbelievable. Yeah.
it's nuts.
Yeah, dude, we'd love to have you on again sometime, man.
Yeah,
Because I think we haven't really explored
Yeah,
this enough yet.
Kind of scratch
you know?
the surface
Yeah, we
only
only
on
scratched
this.
the surface. You know, we haven't even gone to the nitty gritty of how it's like working in Odette. You know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a 2 Michelin star restaurant.
Yeah, I'm sure
I
a lot of
think
people
we
are
should
curious.
probably get into
Yeah,
that
yeah.
sometime soon as well.
Yeah.
But until then, man, thank you so much for coming, bro.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
It's fun.
You'll be here again.
Yeah.
Alright. Thanks for sticking around, guys. Peace out.
We out.